Hello, everyone. I am Jory Perczynski with Everyone in Wellness and Abilities Fair, which is coming up this Saturday, September 30th, 9 to 5 in Milwaukee at the Barrett Center. Now, today, I have two very special guests to join us today and give you some information. So Barbara Leigh, if you come to the event and you look at the schedule ahead of time, you will want to make sure you check out her presentation because she is an amazing young lady, and I've been very blessed to get to know her for a few years now. But more importantly, Onama is here. And I'm going to let these two ladies have a little conversation together because they're really good friends, and I'm just going to kind of sit back and listen. So ladies, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thanks, Jory. Thank you, Rose.
Hello, Barbara Leigh.
It's so good to see you.
Well, it's good to hear your voice, even though I can't see you.
Oh, thanks. So let's just jump right into this. I've always been amazed by the story of your life. It's pretty inspiring. And I thought maybe you could just tell people a little bit about your background, your childhood, and the influences of being born in Uganda and being a twin and having an incredible grandmother and father and family. And oh, go for it.
Wow, I got a lot, so much that I don't know if I'll be able to finish. So let me just do it really quick. Again, my name is Rose Onama, Rose Kozoa Onama. That's what the middle initial is for. I am from Uganda, East Africa, the Midwest of Africa. We have the second largest lake, inland lake in the world, or second to Lake Superior, and our Lake Michigan is number 3. Uganda is also where the River Nile begins. And my people are called Nilotics. We're right on the River Nile. The Nile runs through my country. My father is the Ugandan equivalent of your George Washington's. He was one of the 4 people very instrumental in bringing their independence to Uganda. So I'm sure most people know now where Uganda is with the recent things that have been happening. I am a twin. I am the second born twin. I have a whole bunch of names, and all of them tell people that I am a twin and I'm the second born twin. So, you know, I have from birth gone through a lot of health issues and all that. I was born, I guess here they would call it premature, because I was only 3 pounds.
Oh.
My twin sister was 4 pounds. We survived because our grandmother was a traditional medicine woman. She knew that she had to keep us warm, and so that we would survive. And in many ways, we were very blessed to be born there, because kids of our age, I was born in the 50s, people that were born in the 50s in the developed countries who were put in incubators have ended up blind, because apparently at that time they did not realize that oxygen kills the iris, the lens. It just makes kids blind. And throughout my childhood, I have had challenges, but I was a tomboy. So I've always been strong, and I've overcome a lot of things. When I came to this country at the age of 19 to go to Marquette with my twin sister, I was very much into sports, and actually I paid for my undergraduate by running track, which made me much stronger. I've always been athletic. Dancing is one of my favorite things, which has really actually saved me from getting better. So I met Barbara in 1994, I think, right, Barbara?
Wow.
And
well, that was the year we started, so probably a little later than that.
right. Well, around that time,
I have pictures of you in 2004 and 6.
No, I met you way earlier, Barbara.
Okay.
2006 is when I had my stroke.
Wow. Okay.
Because 2005 is when I got the, the 23 women that put stamp on Milwaukee.
Yes.
Yeah, but Barbara, remember, way before that,
All right.
we
right.
ran the land, summer day camp.
Yes.
So 2006 was when my what I do came to an end because of the stroke. So yeah,
we were wonderfully active before that, and I think our first project was just trying to figure out exactly what we should focus on first. I think Tales from the Nile was a huge project that you made happen. It was just absolutely wonderful.
Way after we did the land projects together, and remember all the Boys and Girls Clubs, all the after-school programs. Yes. Those were way before.
You're right.
Yeah. I am the person at home in my family who keeps all the family stories, and I'm the even amongst my friends that I met here in my freshman year, I remember everything and the times and dates and stuff. So, and I think my mind got like that from my master's degree program at the UW Madison in agriculture. So I have to remember all that. One of the really great things that happened is I've found every one of my friends, my freshman year friends, this year marks 50 years since I came to Marquette, and I've seen 3 of them. We all came together. That's how strong our friendship is. So anyway, so when I had the stroke in 2006, I couldn't even sit. It was dogs that helped me to sit. But I never allowed anything to put me down. I bounced back from a lot. So I was able to get up and walk because I had my stroke 2 weeks after my first grandchild was born. She's 17 now. And so, but because of her, I got this strength to go on, and I was able to get back to walking. And then 2011, I got struck down by stage 4 cancer of lung, liver, and spine. And that is what put me in the wheelchair. The doctors told me, oh, you will never walk. And I love challenges. That's why I do not call myself disabled. I call myself physically challenged. Because for me, I feel that succumbing to being defined as disabled means I'm going to give up. Challenges I always meet head on. And that's what I've done. I got back to, walking a little bit at a time, and actually a funny thing happened in that the doctor who told me I would never walk, the day he retired, I walked into his office. And I've had very wonderful doctors from Frederick, especially a doctor called Dr. John Maguire. Being in this country has been a blessing, because if I was back in Africa, I would not be alive today, But I work very hard. I don't give up. I encourage other people. The best thing was to meet Barbara. Barbara gave me so much, oh man, what can I say? Encouragement. She was in a wheelchair. Of course, I wasn't in a wheelchair when we met, but seeing her not giving up and doing all these things gave me so much strength. And that I just kept going and just, I fall down and I get up. I fell down many times, eventually to the point that I learned how to fall so I wouldn't break my hip, because if I did that, I couldn't get surgery anyway, because after getting okay from the cancer, having everything taken care of. 5 years later, my heart went into failure. And my heart was working at less than 19%. But as Barbara can tell you, I'm a very XXXL alpha female. And when I was they were trying to push me into surgery, I took it into my hands. And again, my education at UW-Madison in research came into play. And I found out about a drug that I had to call Miranon. I had to have 24/7 IV and wear a defibrillator vest in case my heart stopped.
Oh, geez.
And I never gave up. I'm a prayerful person. I prayed a lot, and I did what the doctors told me. And within 4 months, my heart went back to working 100%. It's now been 7 years, and it's been perfect. But that's not all. I am the comeback queen, my friends, because on December 31st, 2022, I had a terrible accident because I have a power wheelchair that's very advanced, but the drive broke. And unfortunately, the small ma and pop wheelchair companies that used to just repair my wheelchairs really quick, the two large companies that have bought out every single little company that does their work, they don't come out anymore. You have to do everything remote. I waited for 9 months, they didn't do anything. I waited for a whole year, they didn't fix my wheelchair. They didn't fix the part that holds a table for me to put my cup's food down because I am paralyzed on my left side. And so as I was taking a small cup of hot tea, the control just flipped around and knocked the hot water onto my foot. It was winter. I had thick socks on. I could not take the socks off. So I got the worst burn that you can ever think of. I spent 10 days in the hospital, and I spent 4 months in a rehab center. So it took me back to not being able to walk or do anything. But even though it hurt, I kept exercising. And, you know, I call myself a blessed child of God, because a part of my body, a part of my foot that wasn't working, that gives that drop foot, started working again. So I am a weird one. And so, you know, I have never given up. I go, I do everything. I get up, I get in my wheelchair. I call it the Rose Mobile. It's a pink wheelchair. It takes me anywhere. Top speed is 10 miles an hour. I wish it was 100, but then I would be getting too many tickets. So anyway, so I've learned how to do things with this. I continue to use my hands, getting it to work, making jewelry, sewing, you know, and all that. And now the only thing left for me is I still have my storytelling, but I seem to have a writer's block with all these things that I'm going through. But slowly it's coming back. And, you know, my big thing is I really want to encourage other people. I can find anything. I know who to call, and I know how to fight for what I need. And so my biggest thing that I would like to do is to teach other people who, because of their challenges, feel that they really can't do anything. And in many places, in many situations, you have to be really over-aggressive. I learned how to be a fighter from my father. And I love a good fight. You know, I love a good fight. You know, because if you don't fight, you know, everything that we've gotten, the ADA, including this country, people have had to fight. you know, and fighting doesn't mean weapons or whatever. Fighting is your brain, is your strength, and you're never giving up.
Well, also, you fought in a way that was really very clever, not just, like hitting people over the head with things. You were just very, very persistent.
Right. I don't want to go to jail, so I'm not hitting anybody with anything. I'm not even running them over with Rosemobile, because there are some people I would wish to run over, but that's illegal. I don't want to wear orange.
Well, your sense of humor, I think, really helps a lot too, Rose.
Yes. You know, when I had, my doctors could not believe when I just could barely breathe. I just made jokes and laughed. And that was a clever thing, because that made the nurses want to be in my room. And so I always had people in my room. But, you know, it's being very active and not allowing things to put a block on hanging out with your friends or seeing your friends is medicine. You know, people are medicine. And I have to say, one of the best medicines for me have been my friends, people that I have met, not only during my younger years at school, but people I've met through Barbara. Barbara has been one of the biggest people that has followed me and that has helped me get to where I am. You know, it's like from the beginning, God meant for me to be connected to this person.
Well, I feel the same. I
Yes.
have some wonderful pictures of you playing with kids and doing workshops with them at land and all kinds of
Yes.
stuff. I'm not quite sure how to do that here, but maybe
And you know,
we can add some of those at some point. Yeah.
yes. And you know, we should really visit and look at that, so we can think of all these other times when I was, you know, and by the way, I am back dancing. I stand up and dance in front of my wheelchair, or I sit down and I can dance. And so one of my passions and the thing I want to do is to start a wheelchair dancing group, so that, because we have in African dance, it's not just the fast moving of the feet. We have dances that are hand dances. And today I just came upon a video of older, let me say, mature, older African-American men and one woman dancing. I thought that was me. And all these men, they called it hand dancing, doing hand gestures. We have a lot of our dances now, the Afro beats, that come mainly out of Nigeria and West Africa. That's really overtaken a lot of the music world. We dance a lot with our hands. We talk with our hands. We're kind of like the Italians of Africa. We do a lot of hand movements. And I think just because your legs don't work doesn't mean you can't dance.
For sure.
Good. You can dance with your hands. And that's what I want to bring back, because dancing is happiness. It has brought me so much happiness. When I feel bad, even here in my apartment, when I'm washing dishes or vacuuming or whatever, I dance. That's my exercise, you know. But the universe is wonderful. I met a woman who just moved in here. She's 80. She walks. She is the one who can walk regular. So she gets me every day. We walk. And so I'm at the point that I can walk comfortably some distances. I can go in a car. I don't have to go in and use my cane to kind of walk a little bit slowly. And, you know, God did not give up on me. I don't have any business giving up on myself. And that's what I would encourage anybody. You know, you can, even the littlest you can try. We all have different challenges. Different things put us in the situation that we cannot walk or whatever, even not talking or whatever. And there's other things, and with the help of friends, relatives, and people who care, we can overcome a lot of things. And that's what I would like to put out to people, you know, especially the young ones who've been cut down in the heyday of their life or at the beginnings of their life. And then those of us who are climbing to the top of that hill, well, we can't climb now. We climb fast. We have to climb slowly. But we will get there. We will not be too tired to be at the top of the hill to look out. And that's how I look at it. I have negative days where sometimes I might sit and cry, but then I jerk myself out of it. Say, well, hey, what is this? What are you doing? I can't be wasting my fluids from my body by crying, And, laughter cures a lot of things. It's the best medicine.
Yes. And don't watch too many of the news channels.
Oh, I am into documentaries only because actually I've been looking for somebody to help me start a YouTube channel that is for encouraging people like me, and also showing people that, look, we're in a place where you have everything that can help you get back.
So maybe there's somebody out there who is watching this who can get in touch with us about helping to make that happen.
Yes, if I could get somebody to help me with that, I would be very, very happy. My biggest challenge now is being able to go back to Uganda because the situation there for the people with disabilities like mine is terrible. I probably would be able to get along just because I have people who will be able to push me around, but otherwise buildings don't have ramps. Majority of the world is like that, where, buildings don't have ramps. You become not even a third-class citizen, you become a, zero-class citizen, minus third, but we got to keep it going, keep showing the strength. And, there's many people who, have had their hands chopped off, whatever, and they go ahead and work and do things, although they don't have the support that you get in this country. But the human body and the human soul is very resilient. If you can do it and we help each other, we can all, get back to as close to what the definition of normal is as possible. A few weeks ago, we went to open the Moss Universal Park. We went to that was the best thing that happened this year. It just hello.
A picture of you coming through that arch. It's just great.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. I didn't like it as much as the video of me and when I got all those people to come and do the groundbreaking because they didn't have any person with disabilities doing the groundbreaking. It was everybody with ability doing it. So, aggressive me, I collected the other people and we did our own, even though everybody was done. I mean, and that, that made me happy. I said, well, I am over aggressive sometimes, but I think this is an appropriate time to do that. It was just wonderful.
I love the way you can just jump into things like that.
Yeah. Well, I learned the humor from my dad, that it breaks up tense situations. My father, was Uganda's Minister of Defense. The Minister of Defense is actually the person who commands the army. But he was also in our version in the parliament, which is our version of the Senate. And in some of these countries, people actually get into fisticuffs, hitting each other. So when my father saw situations that were getting tense, he would say a joke and then everybody would laugh and it would break up the situation. So I learned very well from him that doing that, but also treating people as your brothers and sisters, regardless of black, white, whatever, creed, color, whatever situation, whether they have ability to walk or not, that is the most important thing. when you can take care of each other as brothers and sisters. And I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I'll tell you something very funny that I've been showing to my friends. When my foot healed, of course, all the skin came off, very gory, and the color hasn't come back. So my foot is pink. So I tell people, hey, look, you guys are all fighting about this color stuff for nothing. Underneath, here, look at my foot. Doesn't it look like white skin? So underneath, we're all the same color. And so I find the humor in that. I laugh about it. It's I'm not good to wear sandals. I can get all kinds of fancy socks and put that on, you know. So everything makes, you know, my feeling is that I believe in a higher being, the universe, if you please, that we get our giants, which mine, I got a whole bunch of them and I defeated all of them, not to make us weaker, but to make us stronger. You know, you draw strength from all these things, you know. And then I think about my childhood nursery rhymes of the train going up the hill. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Chugga, 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 chugga. Yes, I can. And I found many of those times when I could do that. You know, I don't allow myself to say I can't. I can't is not in my vocabulary. I will. And I have done it, is what's in my vocabulary. And I wish that everybody who has these challenges, whether it is physical or whatever, think the positive, call the universe to send you the positives only, you know, regardless of what your religious beliefs are, you know.
Oh, thank you so much, Rose. This is so amazing. I mean, I think we could, of course, go on all day.
I'm sure we could. You know me, I like to talk. I'm a storyteller.
Yes, but this was great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jory.
And
thank you, Jory.
And I actually had to stop and write a couple notes down.
Yes, I really, this is wonderful.
The idea of a wheelchair dance class.
Yes.
Yes.
I
would like to find a place to do that. And you know what? Like Barbara mentioned about Tales from the Nile, and I designed these outfits that you could twirl around and it would be like water or sunshine or fire. That was my favorite story, Barbara. Yes. And so, you know, with pom-poms, there's tribes in in Ethiopia, they dance with their shoulders, men and women, and with their heads. Of course, I will not make people whip their heads back and forth like they do. But I think that, you know, dancing brings happiness. This summer, I went to Bastille Days, and I got introduced to a young man who was from childhood. Obviously, he couldn't move anything. His stepfather was playing in the band. And, you know, I asked people, push me next to him. I got up, I took a hold of his hands, and I moved his arms back and forth. The smile that came on that young man's face was absolutely priceless. And we danced to Omar Sanya playing. It was wonderful.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Maybe she could do that, Jory. I
think we have to figure out how to make that happen, because I just think that's awesome. Because there's so much power and there's so much happiness and there's so much healing.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking with Barbara here, humor and healing, but dancing and healing. Yes.
Well, and you know, I have pictures of it, and I think I even have a video of it.
That'd be great to get.
Yeah. And you don't need anything big, a room where people can put their wheelchairs or put a chair down and sit in the chair. And I suddenly have the music. And we still have Julio, who can drum for us. Unfortunately, we lost two of our best drummers this summer. May their souls rest in peace. Yames Finlayson and Cecilio Negron Jr., within a month of each other, So we please pray for their families. And we miss them a lot. And I met these people through Barbara. So, so Barbara was brought into my life for a reason.
Well, it's reciprocal, Rose. I mean, we've learned.
Yes. So like my grandmother told us, she was 95 years old when we left Uganda, my twin sister and I, to come to Marquette. And the biggest advice that she gave to us was, remember, they call here coming out into the bushes when you coming to America or the UK. She said, when you go out into those bushes, remember your brothers and your sisters do not have to be the same color as you. And it has been the absolute 1000% truth for me in coming into this country. And I've always lived by that. And when I work with kids, I let them know that we have to hold each other's hands when we're climbing a big mountain, so nobody falls off and everybody gets to the top. And we have to do that laughing and singing and dancing together, whether we are sitting down, whether we're laying down, or we're standing up. I can always shake it. I will not break it, but I know how to shake it really well.
Well, I mean, I always talk about, there's so many things that you spoke on, Rose, that it was hitting my mind with, oh yes. One of the things I like to talk about is people don't know that it's 22% of American adults live with some form of a disability.
Yes.
And that CDC stat, that makes the people living with disabilities really the largest minority group. And
yes,
Rose, as you have been stating, and I tell people, we are the only group that allows everyone in.
yes,
Is our
right,
sisters
yeah.
and brothers. We don't sit there and like, well, I don't know, you're purple with pink polka dots. We're looking for somebody that's purple with yellow polka. No, you have a disability.
Right.
You're in the family. Let's figure out how we can move forward. And I want to get rid of, I really want to get rid of the stigmas against disabilities.
And actually, we are the best family because we don't throw anybody out. We bring everybody in. Yep. If there's no room, we all squeeze in together.
There's always room. We always have room. We have this, as you said, the universe, whoever your higher being is, that gives us all of the space. There is never any point where we are feeling tight. We always have room for someone else because that's love. That's togetherness. That's opening ourselves up and helping you, taking that young man's hands and helping him to dance. That's what it should be all about.
Yeah. We are, as I said, we are our brothers and sisters keepers. And if people can remember that and not think of it as a religious thing, but knowing that, you as a child, we were always told, you don't put your little sister behind you when you're going on a journey. So even though I am considered to be the younger twin because I was born after my sister, many of our cultures say that I am the oldest one because I put my sister in front so I can see the danger. But then I'm also the smartest one because I say, go out there and find out what's happening before I come out. She doesn't like that very much. Because I was the quote unquote weaker twin, but I got to be the stronger one.
Well, and Barbara, as you had mentioned earlier, and let's put the challenge out there. Anyone who's seen this video, if you do YouTube, and if you are willing to make your investment of your time helping others, Rose, for sure, there's so many people that could have so much of an impact on others. They just had somebody to help them, like, hey, if you can do the YouTube part of it, I can give you all the content you want.
Yes, I just would absolutely love that, because my over 65 head, over 65 plus brain doesn't want to cram anything in anymore. I try. So, Barbara, I don't watch any of the terrible news stuff. I watch documentaries. Lately, I've been watching how to start a YouTube channel.
There you go.
But I need somebody, because of my challenges of my hand, I need somebody who can help me get that started,
Right.
And I mean, I am brimming with ideas. In fact, I already have a name that I want to use for this. All I need is a bright young person, male or female, who can get me started.
We can get you started on a podcast.
That would be lovely.
Because a young man that I've known for quite a few years, a really good friend, he was born with cerebral palsy. He has started an internet-based radio station.
Yes.
And we're doing podcasts off of that. And the station is called ADA Talks.
Yeah, see, that would be great. You can also start a TV situation with that. Yeah.
But all you would need to do is your recording. You just sit down, you do a recording, you send it to Adam. Adam does all the editing. Adam can do all the editing part of it and then upload it onto the station.
Wow.
And so we're looking for anything that is, disability advocacy, disability awareness. What you're doing, Rose, and what Barbara does, awareness of there's no limits.
Yes.
No limits. You're just.
Oh, I have very, very, very many information and of how people can get this, that, where, and what to do, and all that. That would be wonderful.
Good. We'll get that set up.
I would like to meet you in person, Jory.
We do have to arrange that at some point. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I got to check out this Rosemobile.
Yes.
Oh, it is something. It can lay me all the way back. And actually, before they messed it up, I could even call it with Bluetooth.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
I call it my car.
Yes.
So, Rose, was it ever fixed, or is it still?
Oh, my Rosemobile is working. Fortunately, I did get in touch with the person who originally worked with my first wheelchair, but then it wasn't as good as this one. And, let me tell you, I was sent the best doctor. You know what he asked me? He didn't even say, okay, you're going to get this wheelchair. He said, what do you want on your wheelchair? And he made sure that it helps with my hip, it helps with my paralyzed side or my deficit side. And, it's just, you just have to fight. Now they don't want to give you a wheelchair that will help you with this stuff. And it's kind of like they make you be almost like a throwaway person, And, but I know how to fight them. I don't give up. I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm in a wheelchair. I can outrun you in anything.
Yes. And that's why we need to get your voice out there. Because
yes, I would love
as you were
to
saying
do that.
before, with when you go to Uganda or and other countries outside the US, that people with disabilities are not, they would love to be second class. They love to be 18th class citizens.
Yeah.
We are viewed as like disregard this person, we don't recognize them.
And a lot of times people treat us like as if it's a disease that they can catch.
But we need to get your voice out there, Rose.
Yes, and the other thing is, what I have found is I let people know that, when you see those of us with physical disabilities, sometimes don't rush to help us if you see us struggling. That may be our way of learning to do something. And I will try and do what I can. If I need help, I will ask you. but also have enough respect that you will come to a person and say, may I help you? And if they need your help, they will say yes. But I have run into situations where they get offended because I tell them, look, let me just try this and then you can help me. And, you know, it's like the public also needs to understand what is helpful to a lot of us who are, you know, disabled, especially physically disabled.
You also need to be tactful, you know, like, thank you
Yes.
so much. That's so sweet of you. Let me try this. And if I really can't do this, hey, come on over.
Yeah, well, I would never stop asking for help. But then, you know, one of the good things is because I do it smiling, I
Yeah.
have people helping me all the time. When I go, Barbara, when I go to like the Walmart here, a lot of the people that work there had been my students.
Oh.
So they would say, Mama Rose, what are you doing in that wheelchair? And then, or else the ones who didn't remember my name would say, I can't forget that voice. Is that you? You used to teach me in grade school. And, you know, I mean, it's been so nice that even laying in the hospital with my heart barely working, I've had somebody with a doctor so-and-so come say, hey, you used to teach me. And, you know, I mean, it's the best thing. I have found bus drivers who were my students in grade school. And so that makes it really, really nice. And, you know, one of the things that I have to remember, just like you said just now, Barbara, is that I used to get offended with people thinking you can't, you know, and it's not, I'm trying not to do that anymore. Slowly I'm getting there. But, you know, the older you get, the less you tolerate.
Gotta watch that.
I know. Keep reminding me, Barbara.
Well, thank you, ladies, both for being on the recording here. And we will get this up onto YouTube channel and I'll send you links to it.